their win against LSU back on February 22nd, UNO baseball been kind of roller coaster, right? And they go into tonight's matchup and rematch against the Tigers, having lost 4 in a row. Chris Hagan joins us live from Alex Box Stadium with a preview. Chris?
Privateers head coach Blake Dean and his team were fired up after beating LSU back in mid-February, but since then they've hit a rough patch over the last week. They were shut out last Wednesday against Southern Miss 6-0 and then swept by Southeastern over the weekend, putting them in an 0-3 hole in the Southland Conference. After lighting up the scoreboard through the first couple of weeks, UNO scored just 5 runs in their last 4 games. Coach Dean says he hopes tonight's contest can get them going again.
If we win tonight, I think that'll really, catapult us back in the right direction. And if we don't, every game we go into, we anticipate winning and hoping to win. But if we don't, hopefully we can still have some positives come out of it, because at the end of the day, the conference is the most important thing for us. And we got blanked last weekend, so we got to turn it around and get a one in the win column.
And just as we saw last time, we could have another shootout on our hands with a pair of freshman pitchers getting the start. But above all, for both LSU and UNO, they're looking to take some momentum from tonight into conference play this weekend. Live at Alex Box, I'm Chris Hagan for Fox 8 Sports.
Thank you, Chris. The Tigers and Tears get underway at 6:30. Also tonight, Tulane on the road at Nicholls State. First pitch of that game at the top of the hour from Thibodaux. Saints running back Travaris Cadet likes his current situation so much so that he's pushing aside other offers and staying in black and gold. After a solid last season with the Saints, Cadet had to rebuff offers from both the Jets and the Bills. Cadet gives the Saints a dual threat out of the backfield. He had 40 catches for 281 yards last season, also 4 touchdowns, 3 of which were receiving touchdowns.
Versatility. That's what he brings. You can treat him as a wide receiver and as a running back. As a defense, it makes you shift into your nickel personnel. And so it kind of gives the Saints the advantage if they want to run the ball because they got little people versus their big people if you put Cadet in the backfield. But they've been spreading him out. He's a mismatch for any safety or a linebacker.
UNO's wonderful run at the NCAA tournament and how hard they fought in last night's tournament opening loss to Mount St. Mary's are being overshadowed a bit today by how 2 Privateer teammates, best of friends usually, almost fought during a timeout. Center Trayvon Thibodaux, unhappy with teammate Christavius Gill, got physical with him to the point of grabbing him around the neck. They had to be separated, and Thibodaux sat the rest of the game. Today, he issued an apology to his teammates in the school and his friends, saying in part that, quote, "I regret this as one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life. I am extremely sorry to disgrace my family, my team, and university. I will take this moment as a major learning experience and work on becoming a better man/teammate." After the game, Coach Schlesinger said his players' actions were out of character.
Unfortunately for him, it gives an uncharacteristic impression of how great a kid he is. He's an honor student who's extremely passionate and cares about his team and loves, and it'll be something that unfortunately for both those guys, at some of the lights, I'd say being it's the first question, unfortunately it'll take away a little bit from the experience of the game and how great of a experience this was for us.
Meanwhile, the NAIA tournament underway in Kansas City. Dillard on the court right now against Oklahoma City. Blue Devils running Dennis Hightower, the still, eventually finding Jalen McGaughey with the finger roll. It's halftime now. Dillard on top by 11, 41-30. The tourney continues later tonight when Loyola battles top seed William Penn at 8:15. And tomorrow night, the Tulane women will begin their run for an NIT title, hosting UT Arlington. There we are. I do that all the time. It's the 8th straight. I miss you, Lee. It's the 8th straight trip to the postseason and their 2nd straight year in the WNIT, and they're hoping to build off of last year's run. Tulane won their first 2 games in this tournament before bowing out.
I think starting at home, NIT, the word on the NIT is if you can play at home, you got a chance to win it. So, for us to stay at home, kind of get our fans rallied around it, I think is exciting.
And the Pelicans back on the court tonight. They're in Miami, hoping to beat the Heat for the 3rd straight win. The Pels ran past Portland last night, but are still 5 games back of the 8th and final playoff spot with just 15 games to play. And they may end up running out of time on this season to get back in it, but they've had plenty of chances.